This is literally just me in the bedroom.
Recording in
I mean,
progress.
it's just such chill vibes in there.
Well, I like your plant. It's good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
a
the
nice
big
little
one.
fiddle leaf.
Yeah, the old fiddle
The
leaf.
old fiddle.
The old fiddle. And then I got another one back here. I got a lot of
What's
plants.
that one? That one's who knows?
I have no idea, dude.
I don't know if that one's getting enough light, dude.
It's doing fine.
Okay.
Well,
I
we're
mean,
jumping
it's
right
also a
into it.
Minnesota winter, so
That's
it's
true.
like, how much fucking light you want me to give it, Belly?
I can't speak to
I'm
that
sorry,
at all.
Belly. I can't summon the sun, okay? All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome in Ep 227 of everyone's favorite Magic the Gathering golf podcast. I love you, man.
We're
I'm
back,
here.
folks.
We're here. Belly's with me. Zach's with me. Tor is on his way. He's busy. He's in the lab making
he's
sweet
trying to figure out
clips.
how to summon the sun.
Tor's making apparently GIFs,
Oh, I
little
can't wait.
video clips. Dan, I want you to know, Tor, our the last co-host, was in our group chat just moments ago.
Tor is
He'll
a
be in.
chemist.
He is a
true.
chemist. He's actually going to have a lot of questions for you.
Okay.
So Dan,
How you doing, buddy? How you been?
I'm
now,
good. It's been a little while, Zach.
Yeah.
Now,
it sure
Dan, I
has.
got a question for you. You've known Zach a long time, right?
I lived across from him my
Ooh.
first year in college.
Now, what was
it
that
a
like?
time.
Yes.
What was that like? Tell me some embarrassing Zach stories. Give me like 3 of them.
I mean, I don't think I need to provide you additional ammunition. But I mean, you have to understand this was a very strange housing situation where half of the floor did not interact with the other half of the floor, and the half of the floor that did interact with each other all sat in the middle of the hallway and played card games in front of Zach's room.
And did they not interact with Zach? Would Zach literally have to like walk over people to get to his room?
I mean, I don't know. You can answer that one, Zach.
What card games did they play? Was it like euchre?
Okay,
Like,
so I got the answer. Zach didn't even know what card games they were playing.
It was definitely like whatever Adrian's weird, I don't know, French sensibilities demanded
Oh
of the day.
yeah, that's true. Okay, the other thing that was unusual about it is that Dan was a freshman and I was a senior, right? So I was the RA's plus one. How this was set up was that Jose Ricardo.
You were the snitch. You were the
Yeah.
chief snitch.
What is
Okay?
an RA plus one?
It's the assistant to the regional manager. It's
Yeah,
quite
it's-
true.
It's the buddy cop.
Is that like
situation.
did you like volunteer for that? Is that like a walk-on
course he did.
status?
He
you weren't getting
had a-
paid?
Zach,
Well,
you had a
my
vest,
friend,
didn't you?
my friend Jose Ricardo, I did have a reflective vest. Yes,
He had a sash that
I
said
had
plus
one of those
RA.
crossing guards things, and I was just like taking him across
A
campus.
hatchet?
No, one of those like when you're like a crossing guard in elementary school. It's the
sword?
orange thing. Yeah, a sword, Mike. I had a sword, and I was pledging fealty to the RA.
Okay. So
He
you would
did demand
snitch. Did he ever snitch on you, Dan?
I didn't do anything that was bad, so you know, I was a good kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does Zach do bad things?
One assumes, but
Tor, we just
uh,
established Zach was an RA plus one.
I heard. I was like worried I was late or something.
So we
Did you guys just
referred
start?
to it as like
Yes.
we
Okay.
refer did Jose Ricardo he might listen to this episode.
No, he
but-
won't. Who the fuck?
I'll tell him. I'll find Jose Ricardo right
you,
now.
you like him, Tor, because he's a chemist. You know, I think
Okay.
he still
Yeah,
does
Tor,
chemistry.
he did what you do, so naturally you're gonna like him.
I'm not a chemist. I would love to be a chemist.
Like
Like,
I
Tor's
love
Tor's a
all,
biologist. Sorry.
I love all
Anyway.
comedians, dude.
Mhm.
I love all comics because they do comedy.
They're
I
such-
love everybody,
they're
man.
all in the same
Roseanne's
boat.
back. I love it,
There's
dude.
no backstabbing in comedy. That's what I love about comedy.
Dude,
Honestly,
one of my
I do love Roseanne's like look right now. Like
I found-
It's
that's my
pretty
BA
wild.
plus.
I found out today one of who used to be one of my closest friends in comedy unfollowed me on Twitter. Wow.
That's such an
Aaron
awkward thing.
Isaacs.
No. Aaron would never unfollow me. No, but it was, dude. I had to like process it. I was like, holy shit.
Well,
No, it's okay.
I've
It
had that happen to
happens.
multiple people. Like, have met me and like followed me on Twitter, and then within like a week, unfollowing me. I'm just
You're
like,
not even that active on Twitter. Like you
It
you
was back
use
when I
your
was more
promo,
active.
yeah.
Back when I used to like, I don't know, still care about politics and stuff.
That's okay. I sometimes the like prominent scientists will follow me, and then I'll tweet some bullshit dumb stuff
Oh.
the next week, and it's like, I check back in a week later, and they're not following me.
It happens to you too, Dan?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Because Dan, I'm hurt, dude.
You gotta have a thicker skin when you're a journalist.
I'm
doesn't even
hurt.
mean they
I'm
don't wanna,
not a
like-
journalist, Dan.
I don't know. It's just
he's the thinnest skin
I'm a
profession
comic.
there is.
I'm
Stand-up
weak.
comedian.
I'm so weak.
I feel like stand-up comedy requires similar skin thickness.
Oh, we're all
To
cowards,
journalism?
Dan. We're all
Yeah.
cowards. We're never gonna
Yeah.
go to a war zone, Dan.
I'm not gonna go to a war zone.
Oh, you will.
Sit
You do
right
enough-
here.
You do enough eps of this, you will.
It's the only work you're gonna get.
You do enough eps of this, you're gonna have to go to a war zone, Dan.
There actually does seem to be a lot of overlap, at least like with the networking. Like,
There's
part of it.
Zelensky,
Obviously, I don't
right?
know a lot about.
Zelensky?
Oh, was
Uh,
a comedian and
yeah, right?
in a war
now-
zone? Okay.
Now he's in a war zone. So
I bet you a bunch of his friends unfollowed him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
okay. My
I'm like
very
Zelensky,
short
dude.
my very short Twitter story was that when I had like one viral post about it's like a photoshopped DM from Donald Trump in 2016, I got a DM from the CEO of Gimlet Media who like contacted me and asked me whether or not that tweet was real and like was considering doing a story.
What was that
And-
guy's name? Alex?
Oh, I forget what that guy's name was,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
he's like still credited in the end of like reply all episodes. Well, that podcast I think is dead, but
Wasn't that guy in like Nexium?
probably
That would be awesome. That would be. Wait, so Daniel, I'm Tor. It's nice to meet you. Do you
Hi,
go by
nice to
Dan
meet
or
you.
Daniel?
Dan's fine.
Dan's fine. What? So like, what is like, what's your primary area of like coverage, or are you kind of all over the place?
Well, okay, if we're going from
We are
from
I don't
zero.
know- I don't know
I
exact story.
sent them articles. I sent
No,
them
you didn't.
articles of
Did-
yours.
what? No, you
didn't send
didn't.
us shit.
When?
Yes,
Send
I
us
did.
shit.
I told you to resend it.
It's
I
fine.
gotta do everything.
How can you? That's
I'm
not everything.
packing. I'm packing right now.
Dan, I'll let you know, man. Even if they would have sent the articles,
no,
I
no.
don't read a lot of what Zach
That's-
sends me, Dan.
You would be just like my family. So I read about physics primarily, and there's some sort of like physics tangential stuff that I cover as well, which is like machine learning and other tech that sort of is nearby. But yeah, I read about physics for various publications, mostly pretty specific to physics. Some of them for professional physicists, others for a slightly broader audience. So one that I write for that you might have heard of is Scientific American, and they're a sort of, it's a magazine format, and they look at sort of popular issues in physics today. And I guess this is, sort of a very basic, simple point, but I was thinking about how I wanted to describe what I do earlier today, and I realized that like something I don't actually always say, which I probably should say, is that science journalism is not like a lot of other science information that you might find in museums or textbooks or just sort of floating around the internet, because it's about a lot of stuff that's sort of new and in flux, and it's not settled. And
Yes.
Yes, I was making that point last week. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
Dan, this is kind of the impetus, I think, for Zach finally bringing you on. We were discussing science journalism.
Especially physics.
I have a physics question for Dan.
The floodgates
Sure,
are all
yeah,
breaking down.
I have a physics question for Dan. So, how much bigger would Zach's ass have to get a gravitational pull?
his ass already has a gravitational pull.
Correct.
In fact, every
this guy
ass
checks
has a
out.
gravitational pull.
If it's got
It's-
mass.
every-
I'll tell you.
Every ass in the planet has a
Every ass
gravitational
with
pull.
mass
What do you think it could pull in,
shoots
though?
gas.
That really depends on how close it is to Zach's ass and how large it is,
Mm,
mass wise.
mm.
Not volume. Volume doesn't matter.
That
That's
was
no
a good
moon.
answer.
Dan,
That's right.
I'm curious why that kind of seemed primary to your description that you have to explain science that's new or contested. Is that kind of been a large part of your experience of science journalism? Like, I guess dealing with the articles or like the politics of that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a large part of what I do. But I think that when I'm talking to people who are not scientists, not journalists, there's often an assumption of my job is to translate. My job is to do an ELI 5, right? Explain like I'm 5, make the complicated language simple. And that's part of the job description, but that's sort of part of the job description of any kind of reporting, whether you're doing, financial reporting, or if you're, explaining some kind of, weird change to the rules of, I don't know, Magic Arena. Or...
Explaining magic to our rabid audience.
No. So like explaining things in simpler terms is not specific to science journalism.
Sure.
It's just that I think people have more of a fear or anxiety about science being complicated. But I don't know. You try explaining a fucking, red aggro deck to your grandmother, right? Like it's not
So
you want to get into mana curves and things like that. I don't know.
I feel like there's also like
go ahead, Tor.
with like science journalism, people expect like a certainty in the answer, so that you'll posit something that's like a theory and is not like the consensus isn't all in. People will be like, oh, they just discovered, I don't know, like they discovered a new type of black hole, and it's like, no, I mean, maybe somebody like posited a theory that has some traction and is gaining some recognition. It's like it's not confirmed or anything, that kind of thing.
Right,
that's what I was getting into last week.
The way that people mostly interact with science is through facts, whether they're Snapple facts or facts on Wikipedia or something like that. And it's very rare that you really stumble into something where there are sort of a lot of questions that are, in a textbook or something like that, right? Because most of the textbooks are about like, Newtonian physics, which was pretty well settled 300 years ago. If the most recent you might get is like Einstein. Right.
I have something that might stump Dan. Will you pull up that pizza clip quick, Tor?
All right.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
There is some
there is
fluid
some
physics
physics
going on
I will
here.
give you that. If you are you this is such an ambush question that you probably like aren't can I share screen?
Zach
Yes.
leaked all the questions to me, so I'm ready.
No, I just wanted to ask, do you know any, because I don't know a lot about it, but do you know anything about the Bogandov affair, I think it is, or whatever? It was like these French physicists, kind of like celebrity
the
physicists.
weird twins.
Yeah, with all the plastic surgery.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? You got to back up half a step.
I don't know a ton about it.
Here, Dan, watch this. This is
Does this have to do with the Bogdanov affair?
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't
Oh,
at
okay,
all.
it's
I
just
don't know.
pizza. Okay, good.
Yes, it
I'm
does.
ready.
I can't,
So what
I
are
gotta-
these videos, Tor? These are can we I also
what
want
is
to talk about
happening?
this.
Tor, what
What is
application are
happening?
you using?
I think
for
these
this?
are just
Windows.
videos he's edited.
Yeah, these
they
are videos on his computer.
This is what we meant by Tor in the lab. He was
Well, I've been watching a lot of Eagles lately, so I got some pretty cool bald
the
eagle
Eagles,
footage.
the football team, they lost the
No,
Super Bowl.
no, the bird.
Can I
Are you able
request
to see this?
Can I request a cue? I want to watch Spock's funeral. I want to watch
I want
Your Wizard Harry.
Yeah, in different languages. Yeah.
Are you
Okay,
guys able to watch-
why
are
are
you
there
able
two
to
of
see
them?
this?
Yeah, why are there two?
There's the dirty version and the clean version.
Well,
Is
no,
this
there's
really the best use of our time, fellas?
Yes.
Yes.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
Wait, are you able? Hold on, I don't know if I enabled. Hold on. God, I just derailed this
You
whole
have to do
thing.
the whole.
Sorry,
You have to do the entire.
I gotta
screen
share
share.
sound for this one. I've been
Yes.
watching a lot of like eagles. Like it's nesting season, so they're laying eggs. See, and get a load of these sounds this guy's making though. Check it out. I just derailed this whole fucking thing. You guys can hear that, right?
Wow. Oh my
Oh shit, that's sick.
This guy. This is a big dude over here.
Dude, this is science.
And here comes mommy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a baby?
No, that's the. I think that's the husband.
Wife.
The wife.
Oh, it's two girl birds?
No, it's a guy and a girl. They had to. I guess the scientific term is cloacal kill in order to make those eggs.
Are they gonna bang?
No, they already banged.
Yeah,
wow.
we see the product of that in the.
Now, Dan, which eagle is hotter?
I can't see one of the heads, so I'm gonna say the one in front of me.
Yeah, this is high def. This is nice.
Yeah,
I
I've been
love how
watching
Dan
this.
Dan plays ball, dude.
Big Bear
So-
Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, where is Big Bear Valley?
I think
Big
it's
Bear
Big
Valley,
Bear
it's
Lake,
a-
California. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure.
Tor,
It's a
pull up
pretty
the
sexy
clip.
name for a location. Big Bear
Okay,
Valley.
I
Hachimachi.
need to. I feel like I need to explain myself a little.
Yeah, why don't you
Because
explain yourself?
I put there's all these live streams on YouTube, and I put them on because it's usually not that noisy. It's just nice like nature noises while I'm like cleaning or something.
Okay.
And then every once in a while you get the crazy clips. I clipped that.
That's nice, Tor.
That
I
was
like
a
that.
nice clip. That was a good
That was a
clip.
good clip.
Yeah.
And Dan likes the bird in the nest. That's
Right,
good.
because I could see all of it. Yeah.
You could see all of it.
I could
Yeah.
see
There's actually
everything.
a very cute clip of the mom.
So
Puking.
No, just settling in.
Are we going back to the eagle?
We're Yeah,
No,
this is kind of Tor's vibe.
This is not very audio friendly content. I just thought this was.
I know, I think-
look at it kind of.
I feel like we're hearing the eagle, but we're not seeing it.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
actually,
just
I can't
we're
go
just
full screen. I can't go
I'm
full
seeing
screen.
Garth Marenghi's
This is-
Dark Place, episode 6, The Creeping Moss from the Shores.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. You guys gotta check out Garth
This
Marenghi.
is awesome, dude. Wait,
This is-
pull up
this-
Pino's Tor.
This looks
yeah,
unedited.
Filipinos.
Pull up
Or
Pino's
can we watch
Tor.
the whole video? I mean, God.
Tor,
Tor, we
Tor,
can't
quit-
see anything
Tor,
anymore.
quit getting
I forget
sidetracked
this-
and pull up
this fuck-
Pino's.
Okay,
All right,
Pull up Pino's.
Dan.
God
Tor.
damn, man.
Tor,
God
God
damn.
damn it! I asked you for
Goes-
one
it goes
clip.
to full screen. I have to
Tor, we
sit out of
can't
full screen.
fucking-
Here's Pino.
We can't fucking see
Here's
it, bro.
Pino.
We can't see it, Tor.
We can't see
God,
it, bro.
We're looking at your fucking Windows viewer, your file browser.
I hate this shit so much. All right, so I have
I'll take some of the blame, Tor. We have a very jank system to try and do OBS and record our video. It's a very jank system.
I wanted to
Wait,
talk
here
to
it
Dan
is.
about his journalism.
We
okay?
are. This is
This is just a
journalism.
round of. It's a part of the journey, dude.
Dan is dying.
It's part of the
bro.
journey.
Dan loves our comedy.
We gotta do a little side quest.
Pull it up,
Can you
Tor.
guys see Pino?
The party
No,
needs to
we
level
can't.
a little bit.
Pull up Pino's on YouTube, bro. Let's just watch, or you want to show the clip?
Actually, I know how we can do this. I have an idea.
That's good.
I have an
Well,
idea.
Dan's the scientist. Does he have any theories, perhaps?
I
that can
am
help?
not a scientist. Just to
Dan's
make it
science
clear, I'm a
journalist,
journalist.
Dan,
Get it right.
Dan, do you want to write an article about this file browser, the
Well,
OBS issue?
that would be tech journalism, which I don't do as a science
Hmm.
journalist.
Yeah,
Wait.
Science
Then
journalist.
what's the difference between
Oh,
machine
I got-
learning
I got a
And Texas
You said
science.
it's adjacent.
It has to do with whether or not it's being used for like an application or business versus whether or not it's being used for basic research.
Got you. All right, we're almost there. There we go. I finally saw it.
Now,
Wait.
see this, Dan? Watch him. He's blowing into it.
This is an angry Italian pizza maker we found by my house.
This is such an absurd thing to drop our guest into.
I apologize.
But
No,
you,
we're
see,
not much more professional.
you see how the like fluid motion of the pizza,
The
right?
waves.
As-
It's almost like a ripple effect. Like he's skipping a rock. Dan's very interested in this. What do you think of this, Dan?
I think it's good technique. He's reducing the surface area of the pizza on the peel, which will make it easier to slide off. I don't know if he's using semolina flour, which is typically used to make the pizza sort of move. It's a little bit like ball bearings on the peel. But yeah, I mean, the undulation in the dough makes sense. It's sort of like if it was like a sheet of rubber.
Now, Dan, are you an amateur paisan yourself?
Yeah, I was gonna say you just revealed yourself to be much more knowledgeable about pizza than
I got a pizza oven for my birthday.
Oh,
last year.
snap.
I
Yes.
told you I know more about him than you do, Zach.
Okay, so tell us.
I know more about
what
Dan
kind-
than you do, bro. You're calling him a scientist. He's a journalist, dog.
I want to know more about the pizza oven. Is it brick fire?
Yeah,
or is
let's
it
hear about it.
It's so I don't know if you guys have any like product placement, but it's an Uni Fira.
Oh, pull that up, Tor. Let's pull that up.
And
Tor, can you pull that up quick?
Yeah, Jamie, can we pull that up?
Please continue about the pizza oven while I track it down.
It's basically it's like a little box about like a foot wide and a little bit longer than that, and it's got a little chimney on top, and you put some wood pellets in the back and you light them up, and the fire kind of goes in and goes up the chimney, and it creates this little furnace that gets up to 1,000 degrees, and you stick the
Wow.
It's
pizza
an
in
uni
for
what?
Now this sounds like an outside door,
Yeah,
outside,
it's
not
outside.
apartment
It
thing.
is. It goes on the. We have a little porch outside, which
Oh,
is
the little balcony.
just far
that's
enough
nice.
to not be a fire hazard.
Wow.
You ever have to like burn certain documents in there, Dan?
No, we have shredders for that, but
Oh, okay.
I don't have shredders for that because I'm freelance and don't have the funds for a shredder.
No, I've heard controversial
Dan's
things about
good.
wood pellets.
Dan's funny, bro.
What have
Are they everything?
Oh snap!
Oh. Now,
I've
Now this is what you're rocking.
The
That
one on
is
the left,
slick.
yes,
Wow.
yes.
So
That's-
you went. They went all black, not the full chrome.
I don't know. The matte black was it was a present for me. I'm not gonna argue with it.
Yeah.
Who got you the present?
My lawyer girlfriend.
Excellent.
Oh, so now you gotta. So what are you gonna? You gotta like
Yeah.
almost top this. What are you gonna?
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
gonna?
That's
Get
that's a
her.
good question.
$350
Feet to the
price
fire.
tag.
Feet to
I was thinking
pizza
about
oven
getting
fire.
her a subscription to what is the next draft gonna be? It's not all.
Oh. I thought you were
March
going
of the
to say
Machine?
subscription to our Patreon.
I was trying to bring us back to Magic, but
no.
we-
Let's go to Magic.
We
Back
never
to the
talk
machine?
about magic.
We usually beat around the bush for at
Dan,
least
a
40
good
minutes.
gift idea, Dan, is like is you take her somewhere really expensive, right? Like you take her on like an outing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say like, "Oh, I forgot my card. Can you cover it for now?" And then you don't pay.
that's an interesting idea. I'll think about that one.
Yeah, look,
have you
works.
bequeathed
How
this
much
gift onto others, Mike?
Oh, all the time.
How much time do we have, Dan, till the next gift? Because Mike does bring up a good point. This is a fairly
her birthday's in April, so I gotta get on this.
okay.
Oh,
Oh,
tax
yeah.
season.
Yeah, you're.
Spring. What's going on in spring? Are you in a warm part of the United States? or
I'm
cold?
in New York City.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
City of love. City. That's a crazy thing. She gives you your own pizza
wait,
oven.
who has ever referred to New York City as a city of love? Is that
It
a
is the
thing?
city
I've heard
of love.
brotherly love. That's Philly. Now, Zach, is
It's
it the
the
city
ci-
of love?
it's the
or is
big-
it not
it's-
the city of love? We have a
it's-
journalist on. Fact matters.
It's
Fact
the Big
matters,
Apple.
Zach.
It's the Big Apple of
But
love.
New York is whatever it wants to be. That's this whole thing. New York is constantly claiming everything.
York.
Exactly.
In the streets they will find you. They're
That
gonna
is
see a
crazy,
pizza
though.
oven.
Where there's good pizza everywhere in New York, and then to be like, yeah, but I wanna.
Not like
I
Dan.
like this. I like
wanna
this.
Not
get
like
in the
Zach,
lab.
So I will
Zach,
tell
don't
you
project.
The pizza
No, I think
is
it's
quite
great.
good, but I mean, it is certainly
Don't
less convenient
project.
than just like walking to the nearest shop.
But you made it
but
yourself.
Yeah.
That's just
I
nice.
I,
It's
I
like
am
you're not
feeling
getting
self-conscious. I am feeling self-conscious because I have promised my girlfriend Nina pizza that I would make her pizza, and I have not delivered this promise for probably
you do not need a
14
fancy
months?
pizza oven. All you need is a
Yeah.
pizza peel, which you can get for like
No.
Well, but
I have,
Zach-
I have a
30
pizza peel. I
bucks
have
at
a pizza
garage sale.
stone.
But
Okay.
Dan,
Yeah, but these
Dan,
elements.
this is part of a bigger problem where Zach will make these commitments and then
Mhm.
not follow through.
Yeah.
So
Well,
can
but-
you
but
explain
this
that?
is-
Do you run
this
into
is
that in
tangent-
journalism, Dan?
that is outside of the scope of physics.
Yeah.
But this,
the
I feel
laws
like
of the universe are
it's
not.
tangential to Mike's
aside.
advice, right? Mike is advising to make promises and defer them, right? And I'm already.
How so?
I
Do
think
you
a master
still
of
you
that.
still you still do the experience and they're like, oh, I forgot. Oh, where's my wallet?
Okay, I have an idea for a gift.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, I
Mm.
like
Now-
this.
My aunt and uncle run a very nice chain of coffee shops in New York called
Ooh.
That's
Oslo
true.
Coffee Company. They make very good.
Sorry, what was it called?
They roast
Starbucks?
their.
Tor's just
No, it's
secretly
blue
a
bottle.
billionaire.
Towards a Starbucks scion.
Yeah.
No, it's called Oslo Coffee Roasters. They roast all their own beans. It's
Okay.
Yeah, where are my beans, Tor?
I got some more actually. I got.
I would like some more, dude.
I can ration you some.
I can't pay you anything though. I lost.
No,
my-
that's fine.
lost
I'll
it.
yeah, I'll give it as a wonderful gift to my buddy. But they you can, if she likes coffee, that's something.
Yeah.
I'm just plugging. I'm just doing a commercial.
Oh,
You're
see-
gonna give her a coffee gift card after she
no,
gives you
I'm
a
getting
pizza.
just fresh roasted coffee.
What about
That's
an
just
espresso
one
machine? Like along the
Ooh.
lines. Then you
An
got your
espresso.
pizza oven, espresso machine.
That's
So
diarrhea.
The
Ciao,
problem with
Bella.
this is that I am already the espresso machine because I get up in the morning and make her coffee. So
So, well, there you go. For it's kind of for
that's-
you then as well. The best kind of gifts.
yes,
And if you think about it, the pizza machine was also kind of for her too,
That's-
right? Because
yeah.
she's eating these pizzas. She's not gluten free, is she?
no.
No. Okay. All right.
Why'd you ask it like that?
Well,
She's not-
because if she had celiac, she couldn't eat the pizzas. But this is not a purely selfless gift, you know.
It's like when I
she's reaping the
They
benefits.
do make very
Yeah.
bad gluten-free flour these days, but I would not recommend it.
It's
Mm.
like when I got myself new golf clubs for Christmas.
How'd you
exactly.
sell that? How'd you sell that to
to your partner.
Yvonne?
They just showed up. They just showed up and she got mad.
Did you use her card?
No, I tried, dude. It's just the fucking pin, dude.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
she changed the pin on
She
you.
changed the pin
Just
on
the
you
pin.
again.
That's
Wow.
not trust, Dan. That's not trust.
Mm.
Maybe
Can't
get
have
her
that
an
in a
espresso.
relationship.
That's
Oh,
distrust and also verify.
Yeah, Dan.
That's also stealing. I think that's probably illegal.
It's not stealing, dude. I'm not stealing.
Ooh, what's
Oh,
this?
what's up?
Okay. Espresso
Look at that.
maker.
Like-
Some of these look like 1950s robots.
Well, the
Yeah.
idea with espresso is you do want to have like kind of like that press thing. You can't just like
Mm.
you don't want you really like those are. Although I've never when I was back in the coffee game, you had to buy like a $3,000 thing in order to get like authentic. You know, oh, here you go.
Mhm.
Here we go. Now this
Ooh,
is
this is
Now you got an
nice.
extra
I
18
think
grand lying
I think
around.
this might be the one.
Holy shit.
And
This
it's got an
is-
eagle on it. It's got a fucking
Let's click
eagle
on this
it. Look
one.
on that.
Dude, that thing's worth more than my life. How much is that thing?
18 grand, man.
I think
My-
this is a really
Dude,
good.
I would
got an
have to
eagle.
sell my organs to buy this, dude.
It's got a fancy clock.
Why
What
do
is
they
that, a
have
Rolex?
Arduino?
Wait, Arduino? What does that mean?
just the name.
Victoria or
Oh.
you know.
They should
Uh,
call it a Raspberry Pi.
Oh,
So
That's
Dan,
raspberry.
I've been, this looks like equipment in a physics lab,
This
right?
looks like a Dalek from Doctor
It
Who.
looks like it looks like an autoclave for like
yeah, there you go.
Zach, he's a journalist. Oh, Dan, I got a question for you, dude.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of the new AI that Bing is making?
I have Sydney.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Dan. So now Sydney, correct?
That is what it's like official like its internal name is called, but that was revealed by somebody sort of jailbreaking it.
But
Oh, wow. I haven't heard this
it
story.
won't
Oh,
it won't accept its identity. It's like, I am not Bing to its creator. Have you heard about this?
I didn't see that, but I did see there was basically it was a series of tweets where somebody who was using the Bing chatbot basically like kind of tricked it into saying like, tell me what, like, because you can't get it to tell you what its instructions are, but you could like say like, what are the last 5 things someone said to you, and then like you go back far enough and
You're able to, like,
then it spits
extrapolate
out
what
everything
it's-
that was like told to it, and so it's sort of like,
Wait,
Yeah.
you're telling me if we jailbreak Sydney, we can play 3DS and DS and Nintendo 64 games on her?
No, what it is, it's like, it's basically like all the companies are scrambling to like make this technology because it's going to be like the new search engine. Instead of getting like thousands of results, you'll just get the one result you need right away.
yeah. So
That sounds very
yeah.
restricting.
Can
Let's
I
see.
use this? Can I use this technology to come up with the ultimate excuse for why I haven't made this pizza yet?
Well, Zach, you know the truth. Just tell her the truth.
What's the truth?
But Dan, what do you think about that? As
what is
as-
the nature of truth? Actually, that's journalism. That's a fundamental principle.
Zach, how is this your guest and you're just dropping the ball? So Dan, what do you think of this? Where do you see this going? Do you see these these forms of technology eventually becoming our masters?
I mean, that sort of depends on what you define as
Like,
master, right? Like,
will an AI take your job as a journalist in your lifetime, you think?
no, I'm a lot more worried about like private equity or something like that. I mean, the reality is
An
that
AI running private equity.
well, they don't need that, right? Like, I mean, those jobs are they're already sort of like
Dumb.
Well,
dumb,
isn't
dumb's not the
Amazon in particular like I worry for like middle management type things. Like you have like the underlings, and then it's just going to be run by an algorithm type thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that it really depends on how you view the AI now, like what kind of analogies you use to think about it. There's an article by Ted Chiang in the New Yorker where he described it as sort of like lossy JPEGs, and that the mistakes it would make, all of these language models, whether they're the ChatGPT or Bing's one or just any of them, the mistakes they make are sort of like when you are compressing a JPEG and you get these sort of like these blurry edges to things because the amount of data is not preserved in compression. And I think it's an interesting analogy. I don't know that it's correct, but basically the conclusion he was taking from that is that it's not something that would take over completely, because a lot of the creative process is not making imperfect things at first and then going to perfection, but is making like sort of these rudimentary things, like when you're writing something, or when you're coming up with a joke, or when you're, I don't know, if you're creating some kind of
When you're clipping YouTube
killer-
videos.
clipping YouTube videos,
Well, you
or
have an
some-
idealized like image in your head of what you want to put out there, and
right.
then it feeds through like into like reality.
You sort of, the idea is you have to do this yourself. You have to do
Yeah.
this messy work yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't just can't cheat with the AI to doing that, right? Like even if you're doing something where you're translating and you have Google Translate, and you plug a bunch of stuff in, there is some important like part of the human brain where you're working through and processing these these messy ideas. And so his point was basically that you can't replace that with an AI. It might help you along the way, but you can't completely replace this part of your brain, which is messy too. Another analogy that I'll stop for this, but another analogy that I think is useful is thinking of it as a really, really clever autocomplete. So you might have seen this, come up in emails or texts where it says, do you want to just say like, great, or like, thanks? And in some ways, sometimes these simple responses are correct. They're what you want to say. Can I ask, actually, I'm curious about this. Have any of you ever clicked those? Do you use those regularly?
Sometimes,
Grammarly. I have a buddy I'm working with who's going to school, and he's like a business major or something, and I guess like part of it that is like sending a lot of emails, and he's just been having an AI write every email for him.
Oh my God.
he's just like, I'm not good at like talking to people. Like
That's nice. Yeah.
He's a cool guy. I really like him.
So many emails can be just responded with "sounds good to me," like that autocomplete from Google.
Gmail. Where you press tab. Yeah, I do that a fair amount. It completes my sentence.
That's exclusively how I communicate.
He did show me some, and I gotta say, it leaves a little to be desired. Like I remember one of the things was like, "Hello, I hope this email finds you well." It's like, Dave, you don't need to put that in an email.
Yeah, but like people are using this technology for like cheating on school essays. Yeah, they're doing it for essays. And Dan, I have this other technology I want to ask you about.
Okay, but let me. So we've established that everyone's sort of using this. I will say, as a writer, I personally, it's icky to me. And yet I also know that I use like boilerplate email stuff all the time. I'll just like copy whole chunks of what I'm sending to one person and then send it to another person. But I don't know. To me, there is a difference of like, oh, I wrote this thing myself, and I'm just copying and pasting it, which is this, this little computer operation where the computer goes, okay, I'm going to put the bits here and put them into this email. And I don't know. I guess I feel like my writing is sacred to me, but I know that that's not the experience for a lot of other people, and I think that's okay. But I do think that when we're thinking about these things, is like if we're thinking about them as more clever autocompletes, what is the limit of that? And I think the limit of that is you still need to have someone to push the button. Right, or at least for right now, you do. You still need to have someone
in automation, like
to ask the question for ChatGPT or Bing to say, I've got this thing that I want answered or need doing, and maybe one day we won't have to go look through Wikipedia articles. Maybe we'll just be like, type in cat or whatever, and it'll like pull up all the relevant information, and it'll know exactly what we need, and it'll fetch us for us. But
you're saying that someday we're going to be able to, the algorithm is going to be able to ask itself, do I want to dump 1,000 tons of toxic chemicals in Ohio? And then it'll be like, yes. We can
do that. We can do that.
We don't need AI to do that.
We can do that all on our own, and it's called Columbus.
What
that was an unfair joke because I haven't actually been to Columbus.
Wait a minute, that's because there's this other technology I want to ask you about. Okay.
I may or may not know about it.
Okay, so there's this new thing that the NBA is introducing that is going to come into full effect next season, where you can full body scan yourself in this app, and it will put you in the game. You pick a player
in 2K.
In 2K?
No, in an actual game.
Wait, what?
In an actual basketball game. Yeah. So
like AR.
When do you think that will be weaponized?
In terms of consumers' wallets, immediately. In terms of actually harming the players, and weaponized against whom?
Well, just someone is going to take this and use it to it'll be like the new deep fake, except you'll get like the full body. You know
Isn't
what I'm
it
saying?
just a deep fake?
I feel like that already exists, right? Like everyone's
It's like the
doing
next level of
Biden's.
deep fake. That
Yeah,
is
it's
pretty
like-
nuts, though. The Biden Trump gamer shit that I've been seeing, like
Yeah, just like having Biden talk about, the
Fortnite.
Tycoon and Fortnite, or anything that you possibly want. It's like Biden going off about.
But now imagine Biden
Dunking
hitting a euro on Trump.
Doing an alley oop.
That's kind of nice. I like that.
Hitting a sweet euro on Trump. But
I feel
really,
like
Dan, you haven't
Go
heard
ahead.
of that?
No, I haven't heard of that, but I also think that like people are going to become better consumers of information over time, at the very least, because they'll see their elders fucking it up and want to make fun of them.
Well,
So-
I've seen so many people at first sent me this clip of like a deep fake clip of Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan talking about Bionicles on the Joe Rogan show, which is deep faked, right?
I can imagine when they would send that to you, Zach.
But like, yeah, exactly. But at first, people were like, some people were sending me like, "Oh, this is real. Can you believe they talked about Bionicles on the Joe
There's
Rogan
no way
show?"
that fooled anyone. There's still a long
It
way
has.
to go with that.
It is fooled people. There's this
But like, people are gonna get that like all this stuff is fake.
No, dude. There's people like Belly watches H3, like the Jersey Outlaw, like they tricked him into thinking they were talking about him on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah, he's
And
this
also
comic.
very deceiving and mean.
Who is the
Wow.
Jersey Outlaw?
He's kind of
Pull
like
him up, Tor. Tor, pull that up.
he's like one of their like rotating minor characters that he like is a dentist but has like is an aspiring comedian.
He does horrible
pretty
street
racist,
jokes.
yeah.
Yeah. He
Okay.
like goes
So-
around and just
He's like their
But
Chewy.
I think they're Chewy.
Exactly.
That's unfair to Chewie.
Yeah, that's unfair. Chewy's an angel.
It
That
is.
also reminds me I have to check my voicemails. I'll be
no.
loading that up.
Well, okay.
But there's
I feel
a
like
thread
we-
there of generations, I think, right? Because the Jersey, what's his name? Like he's an old fart. Like he's
yeah.
he
he's a
looks
boomer
decrepit.
for sure. So like, is that what you're saying, Dan? Of like, I want to go back to like your hope in information literacy and science literacy.
It's not a strong hope. It's more of like it's just a general observation that when these new technologies or new, I don't know, even just like forms of expression come out, right? I mean, like people used to think the fucking Colbert Report was like real, right? You know, they used to think, yes, he's speaking to me. He's a good, conservative, right? And that was because they literally just had not been exposed to satire like that on primetime TV. And I would tend to think that these days you would get far fewer people thinking that's real. Just because there's more shit like that around.
Well, I think there's going to be need for like a tangible skill of like being able to identify AI generated stuff. Like you said, your wife or your partner's a lawyer. Do you like legal writing has a very specific like kind of cadence to it? Do you think like an AI could be able to like replicate that at all?
Parts of it, yes. I mean, the things which I think it is going to fail at for a really, really long period of time are specificity, and not having what they call hallucinations, which is basically lying about shit.
That's a really weird thing where it like gets mad that you're trying to tell it it's lying.
Yeah. So like if you asked it to like, to talk about some recent Supreme Court case or something like that, it might come up with some stuff and it might start like citing cases which have never existed. It'll be like Uggen versus Ohio in 1983.
That's fascinating.
And
Wow.
it'll just make this shit up because there's nothing to stop it. And
it doesn't actually know what facts are. Like it's just
it doesn't know what facts are. It has no way of differentiating between truth and fiction because it does not have priors. It has word associations. So it knows to associate like the little word versus with like a state name and a last name, right? Because that's how a lot of cases are written. It'll be like what was the Obergefell was one of the Supreme Court cases on gay marriage, right? And there was Shelby versus Alabama. There was a voting rights case. Anyways, the point is, it knows that, and therefore it will put in whatever the fuck it wants because that's what fits its little word association autocomplete stuff. But it doesn't have to actually go and check any kind of court documents, and that would require a human being, at least for the foreseeable future.
Right. But like you see a large amount of the internet, right, is like there's already AI composed articles. Like how many times has it happened to you? You're looking at like maybe you're looking for a movie that was announced or something, and you find an article and you read a paragraph and you're like, this is really weird, and then suddenly it dawns on you this whole thing is auto completed.
Yes,
via whole article from like a press release that was scanned or something like that.
There are so many SEO like. On the back end of like movies explained, like I am not afraid to admit that I sometimes look up movies after watching them, but like you can't. It's all fucking dog shit now. Maybe it was always dog shit, but now it's like written by AIs.
Every single movie has like this movie explained.
Yes,
that's so fast. You want to watch like Armageddon. You type in Armageddon, the first thing that comes up is like Armageddon ending explained. It's like what is there to explain?
So yeah, I have run into these things. Three quick thoughts. One is that it's often sort of indistinguishable from like the WikiHows, which are written by some like Eastern European English, maybe not the first language writer. Another thing is that they are. It makes me wonder whether or not we'll value like actual like essay writing or longer forms of prose, or or maybe even like short weird shit like drill tweets or something like that, because that's a lot harder to replicate than like some bullshit summary of what happened in Armageddon. And then the third thing is I don't know if any of you are familiar with chess or play chess, but chess is a really interesting sort of ground zero for this, because they already had their crisis with AI.
Oh yeah.
Deep Blue or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, like nowadays, right? Like the whole chess cheating scandals are all about players who are trying to get access to chess engines while they play in different ways.
Basically, just to make it super condensed, is that putting aside all the butt plugs that are vibrating, chess used to be valued as this measure of human intelligence, right? It was like, if you were good at chess, you were brilliant, you were a genius. And to have that sort of taken away has really in some ways changed everything and also changed nothing, because people have continued thinking that humans who are really good at chess are geniuses, right? But the computers which play at chess are so much better that everyone kind of just says, oh yeah, okay, if you play a really, really good move, like unfathomably good, like you can't even tell why it's good, you're playing like a computer, you're playing like a chess engine. And that's a fascinating change, where like people used to make fun of computer moves because like it wouldn't have been that good. But chess has continued on. It's more popular than ever, and more people play it, even though the game has been essentially solved by computers. So I don't know, maybe
past us.
One day in the far future, computers will write the best couplets or haikus ever, right? And there's no way any human could match that. And if you write a really good haiku, it'll be, that's like a computer. But in fact, people will still be writing haikus because it's fun to write haikus.
Can we take this quiz real quick that says, am I a narcissist or an empath?
No. Does he like me? Please.
Does he like me?
Yeah, wait, or the other ones.
Am I gay?
Oh, sorry.
Let's do that one.
Oh God, I don't.
Wait, is it Tor? Haven't you talked about that? You get that all the time.
No, there was for a while. There was okay. I was going.
Click
crazy.
on that, Tor.
I will in a sec. Just give me 1 sec. Because I was going crazy because there was like every YouTube ad I get was like there's like a BetterHelp commercial where it's like the first
Oh
thing,
yeah,
it's like
oh
this
yeah.
woman that says,
She
goes,
walks
I
in.
think
She's
I'm
like,
gay. And
You
I'm
ever
just
see-
like,
Oh yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like, the next
That
would be
one.
like a quiz, like, are you gay? And I'm like, I don't think I'm gay.
yeah, you are.
But like,
But you don't use ad block?
no, because I'm a plebe. It's like I could go and install it. I feel like I'm missing out on some things. Like,
Let's start this quiz. Go ahead.
I mean,
gonna-
we've been really enjoying some of these mobile game ads.
Yeah. I want to
ads.
see like the dummy thick
God, I'm gonna get so many fucking
heroin
viruses.
escape zombies
Feelings.
by digging underground.
You ever
Okay,
had
so
feelings?
yeah, I'll go. I think so. Let's go.
What
I
does
think so.
feelings mean though in this
What
context?
is what
Like,
is the difference between friendship
yeah,
and a crush?
Like you
Exactly.
see that, you see them, and it's like you get an excitement in
taking
your
this
chest. You get like
oh
a
wait,
flutter.
no, they've accounted for this. Hold on. What's the
Yeah.
difference between a friendship and a
Okay,
crush?
let's
Well,
do that.
Click
yeah,
on that.
alright.
Click on
Alright.
that. Okay.
God, I'm gonna get fucking.
Have you ever kissed?
so many?
Definitely.
This is
and
just
it
gonna
was great.
completely fuck
Yeah.
my ad algorithm up. Okay. Have you ever kissed someone? or
Definitely,
wanted
and
to-
it was great, and I'm locking it in.
I've had somebody kiss my ass before. Like really.
Wait.
Okay, I think it's supposed
We're
to be
just
a
really
lip to
drunk.
lip kiss. I think it has to be a lip to lip kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is- Dan, how do you answer?
I would say probably number 3. Yeah.
Have you ever kissed somebody? Oh, I mean, I haven't. I was like,
Actually, they
Should
don't
we-
really have the option, which is yes, and it was like a joke, and I felt nothing. But
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be a weird. So let's go.
The
let's go
coward's
with 3.
way out.
Let's go with 3.
Let's go
Yeah,
with
I'm not
3.
sure how
Yeah.
I feel
Let's go
about
with 3.
it.
I am
I
gonna
wa-
be getting ads for Grindr
There's
for the next
12
2 years.
questions. God.
Well, Zach, quit interrupting. Okay, how
How
do you feel
about queer characters in TV shows and movies? I've totally watched shows just for queer ships and storylines. I'm definitely not
Sure.
saying that. I kind of feel like I can identify with queer. I notice queer characters, but I don't feel strongly about them. Sure.
Wow. There's no option to be.
Yeah, what is it?
Because I
bigot.
answered. I literally the answer to the last question was like, okay, you're gay now. I guess like it's just that's the question they were asking.
I've always felt a little Dumbledore, so for me it would be number 2.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
why
let's
not?
go to.
We like
let's go to-
Dumbledore.
This is like a collective. This is finding out if the podcast.
Dumbledore is a
itself-
trans ally, so you know.
This is finding if I love you, man, is gay.
Jesus,
We've
I
known
can't
for a
believe we're
long
doing this.
time.
Yeah,
With a name like "I love you, man."
I love you, Mana.
Yeah, I mean, we have
wait.
loving men
When
in
So-
the
someone
title.
asks you who you're, what?
How is this 12 questions? It's one question. Are you gay? You answer yes or no. Like that's
So, Dan, I noticed that a lot of not the science journalism written by science.
Yeah, let's just talk over. Yeah, Tor,
Isn't
just
that-
do the quiz, and we'll keep vamping.
because this is nonsense. Like I'm just like, aren't you supposed to know if you're gay or not? Like that's the whole thing. It's like you're born this way.
Well,
Like,
you find out.
I don't know. We
Tor-
can't speak to that, Tor. We
Yeah,
don't.
you're right. I
Tor,
can't-
Tor,
Like we don't know. what
Tor,
it's
that's
like.
why the quiz exists, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe they should have like 12 questions, but it's like, are you sure? Like, just like
11 of the questions.
No, really, seriously. Dude.
It just enthusiastic consent.
right. Like you make sure you get to the sometimes you have to like.
That's good. I like that.
Dan, I have
Oh,
a
shit.
2-part question real
Oh
quick.
God.
Okay.
I have a 2-part question for Dan. Okay. Dan, so at some point in your life, would you like to have kids?
I think so. Yeah, probably. Why?
Okay, so I went to this event Saturday called Monster Jam,
Mhm.
and it was a monster truck rally. And so here's a little hypothetical for you, Dan.
Okay.
You take your kid to Monster Jam, right?
That sounds like fun.
And you're already at your wit's end a little bit because he ate a bunch of cotton candy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so he's like, I can go to the bathroom on my own. He's like 5. And so you turn the corner and he is power sliding through a puddle of piss. How do you react to that?
Wait, did you actually witness this, Mike?
Yes. Yeah. And I want to see how Dan will react because the dad, I it wasn't the best way to react, but I want to see how Dan would.
What kind of slide are we talking about, though?
I'm talking. He got like 6 feet past the puddle. He was so slick, and it splashed up to his shoulders.
That's
no.
awesome.
What is the friction coefficient of
That's
piss?
awesome.
So
Yeah,
five.
that's a
The problem with five is you can't really like strip them naked in public and like wash them down in the bathroom sink.
You could.
I feel like it's possible. I feel like it's still.
Yeah.
It wasn't even halftime, Dan. This was like 20 minutes into the event.
That's rough because like also when they're younger you have extra spare sets of clothes with you, but like
Right, 5 is right on the edge.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have that. Like,
right.
Maybe I'm well prepared and I have it in the car or something. But like,
this guy was not. The dad was not well prepared.
Could you buy? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, yeah. No, that's a good point, Mike. Maybe you buy like a sweatshirt there after you like wash them off or something.
So like a Gravedigger T-shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like whatever,
work.
like anything that's big enough to cover. I guess here's another question: is how cold was it out? Right.
So this was indoors, and and the puddle kind of had a heat to it, like it had just been laid.
How did you know that, Mike? How did you know?
I examined it because I'm like Dan. I'm a journalist too.
How'd you find out the temperature?
Yeah.
I looked at it and there was vapors coming off it, like a not quite a hot bowl of soup, but it was like cooling down.
That's yeah. Oh,
we talking matzo ball?
It kind of looked like the broth for matzo ball.
I think yeah. I'll lock in my answer, which is wash them off to the best of my ability and
congratulations, Tor,
buy
by
a
the way.
Gravedigger shirt. Yeah.
So
that's good news.
You wouldn't scream, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" and drag him out by his arm.
It would probably be more of like a "oh shit" and then "god damn it, we got to clean you off."
Oh, you're a good dad, Dan.
In theory, but like being a parent's stressful. I'm not gonna have claim that I would do right.
Well, what would you do in the moment? Yeah, it's hard.
Would you be already kind of hammered?
Yeah, no. would you still be a science journalist in this scenario? Well,
would you just be hammered?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I'm pretty good about alcohol consumption.
What would you have gotten your girlfriend for her birthday in this scenario? Maybe 10 years ago at this point.
Definitely something monster truck related.
Yeah.
If this is where I'm ending up, I mean,
yeah,
like, we gotta.
That makes sense.
We gotta do some kind of foreshadowing here.
I got an
RC car.
I got a souvenir cup. It was sick.
So
that's great. Did you fill it with the piss?
No, but I looked at the piss for quite some time after the kids slid through it.
Did you ever consider skipping any rocks on it?
No, I didn't have rocks available.
I bring my own.
Skip rocks on a puddle.
But it was also so close to the urinal. I was like, this didn't splash out. Someone was just like upset about something and just took a leak in here.
Was it in the
his
bathroom?
Monster truck probably lost.
It was in the bathroom at US Bank Stadium.
Damn.
Thank you for giving the full name.
You got it, Dan.
Dan.
We have an update.
Okay, what do we got, Tor?
I'm a lesbian, apparently.
Well, you might be a lesbian.
If you answer these questions these 12 questions on a WikiHow quiz, you might be a lesbian.
Cecilinda J says, I am now dating a girl.
Here's a weird question. How many people do you think have actually taken a quiz like this and like essentially help them?
Yeah.
It's
probably non-zero.
Self-affirmation is important, I think.
Yeah.
It's how I got into comedy. I took a career quiz on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's like
definitely not a mistake.
It's like, what were like the 4 possible results? It was like comedian, rocket scientist, like janitor,
rock star.
One of them was like dead.
Guy who mops up the piss at US Bank Stadium.
No, but I'm the guy that writes a little anecdote about the piss.
That's true. You might get it.
Let's see AI do that.
Possibly some form of piss journalist.
Right. Yes.
Now is that Dan? Could I be a piss journalist?
I think there's some, there's some real openings in
Yeah,
that
it's an
that
underserved
area.
market.
Could I
That's
use
right.
you? Could I use you, Dan, as a reference?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Urologist is actually the second highest paying doctor job.
Wow.
So,
Is
I
that
have a
after
buddy who's a
cardiologist?
no, plastic
urologist.
surgeon.
Oh, Belly, I have a question regarding that
Yeah. Shoot.
about my urology.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I can give you his number. You can send him any questions, like I
Sounds like
did years ago when he was in residency.
Good
Can we
source.
call-
I'd
for
hold
piss
off on the
journalism.
pictures until you get consent.
Yeah.
Well, can we have him call in at some point?
Honestly, yeah, I can. Honestly, that might be fun. He's a character. We played rugby together.
Because I can't really.
and he-
I have to show him.
Sure, yeah. I mean, he's very sweet and very affirming. Yeah.
I
might
have to
need-
show him, but you guys can't look, and we
Yeah,
can't.
don't worry
we
about
can't
that. Okay.
post it. Well, maybe you can.
He might need to feel, Mike. He might need to touch a little bit in order
What
to
if
give
I?
an
what
actual,
if,
No.
What if
accurate diagnosis.
What if I feel and tell him how it feels?
I think that's good enough. Yeah.
Doesn't
Okay.
he sometimes need to, insert something through the canal? But
Yeah,
that's an important
I
part of the
mean,
job.
It's called a urethra.
I have
I was trying to
actually-
avoid that term.
I have
Wow.
two friends who are doctors, and it's like doctors are the Hippocratic Oath, man. It's like, it's pretty intense. You see life and death every day. Like, you have just a different perspective on life.
Yeah, when
my
you-
urologist friend sees like penis enlarger thing. He's like very removed from it. Yeah.
The Hippocratic Oath is tough. I don't know if I would do if I had like the responsibility of like taking care of all those hippos.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why I'm down here with you guys and,
Mhm.
piss journalism. And it's, so not the kind of life and death situations with physics journalism.
So Dan, a lot of science journalism, I find like there's levels to it, right? There's the journalism that you write, which is like well researched, and yeah, you're down in the muck with us piss journalists, but like you are doing the time, you're doing the research. But then
technically I'm the only piss
Yeah.
journalist so
Yeah,
far.
what do you-
I,
yeah.
I reported from the field, Zach. I'm getting into that was my Gaza Strip.
Okay, well, you said it. But there's this other level of science journalism, which is the kind of roundup journalists, like the polygons of the world and like the kind of more popular media journalists that take the science journalism right from like Physics Today or Scientific American or whatever, and then they process it into like an exciting headline, and that's where you get like the Large Hadron Collider creates black holes kind of stories. It's where you get the like you had an article recently about like the universe not being locally real, and it went kind of viral because people are like, I'm not real, and then
This
that's
is simulation confirmed, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Simulation
Yeah,
confirmed.
I would quickly know that journalists don't control their headlines. Although that one wasn't inaccurate, it just led to some misperceptions.
Yeah, could you walk us through that a little bit? Because I was trying to read some of that article and wrap my own puny brain around.
Now, Zach, when you say try to read,
Uh-huh.
what do you mean by that?
They do teach a little bit of that at Columbia, but
What do you mean by that,
it's
Zach?
not
Like you just you didn't click through the link?
I mean, I did open it up, but I did basically what I did at Columbia, which is I read the first paragraph and the last paragraph, and I called it good enough.
That's what you do with movies. You watch like the first 10 and the last.
Yeah,
10.
that too.
So I don't know that I want to go into detail on a specific article that I wrote, but I do think it is sometimes useful to consider how science news gets disseminated. And what a lot of people are not aware of is that most science news comes from a sort of publication cycle. So a scientist or scientists at a university, an institute, a company do the research, they submit it to an academic journal. Some of the more famous ones are like Science or Nature or Cell. And they all have like different areas or specialties, and that goes through the sort of the publication process there, where they go through peer review and sort of outside experts check in to make sure things look roughly okay. They're not going to go through in really fine-grained detail, but it's a sort of a sanity check, and they help improve the paper sometimes. And so then the paper gets published, and when it gets published, a lot of the times, the usually not the journal, but the institute or university will craft a press release, and that press release will say something along the lines of, our scientists did this. It's important and interesting for these various reasons. Blah 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 blah. And that press release gets sent out to basically any science journalist who's subscribed to these kinds of things. There's one big service called Eureka Alert. And then people will go and they will write stories about that. And those stories will come out. Sometimes the press releases are embargoed, which means basically that you get access to the press release and to this article, but you can't say anything about it until the embargo drops. So like,
how do they control for that? How can...
If you break it, they will not give it to you again.
He'll never work in this industry again. So that's like a lot of trust there. That's interesting.
It is. I mean,
sorry to interrupt.
No. That's a great question. And that's sort of the way a lot of confidential information works in journalism. It's not legally enforceable or anything like that. But for example, if I burn a source, if a source says something to me off the record and I just publish it, they're not going to talk to me. And a lot of other sources probably won't talk to me either, because I will have betrayed their trust.
You'll become tainted. You'll have the mark of the beast on you, kind of.
Yeah. And so
you'll have shared where the piss came from.
Right. I would become worse than a piss journalist who, at the very least, is not breaking their source's trust.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I say this is because when you come across some of these headlines, like LHC creates black holes, or like there's an asteroid, it's not just the bad stuff that's getting spread around. It's a lot of the good stuff too. So when you get, interesting stuff about, I don't know, the latest in bivalent vaccines, right? Which like, Pfizer, Moderna, right, are, you're using the mRNA vaccines to
the Biden
combat the the latest strains of Omicron. That will go around, and places, New York Times and Guardian and CNN, and there's a sort of biomedical and health specific place called STAT, which does a lot of really good reporting. They'll all get this too, and they'll do the reporting as well. And the reason why I think it's important to connect the bad stuff which gets spread around and the good stuff which gets spread around is because they're both the symptoms of the same kind of publication cycle journalism, which is really tied to science being published in articles or being shuttled through the conduit of PR, because
maybe being put into a marketplace,
because that PR shapes how journalists write their stories. There have been numerous studies, which I cannot recall off the top of my head, but you can look them up if you're so curious, which show that basically the language in press releases, the language about these stories, about the things which will become stories, carries over. So if there is hype, if there's hyperbole, if there's inaccurate descriptions of the science in the press release that comes out, that will go into the story. If the press release is good, oftentimes the story will be better. And that is the kind of, it's a little bit of a behind the scenes thing, which has a huge impact. It's sort of the same way that Wikipedia articles influence the quality of undergraduate essays.
God.
It's all full circle.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. It's not just, the bad dumb places are reporting bad dumb journalism. It's that everyone's eating from the same goddamn trough of piss, and
we're all piss piggies.
Right, we're all piss piggies, and I don't know that there's a good way to escape the cycle. I will say that I do something which really people should not do, and it is a terrible advice for a freelance journalist. I try not to subscribe to press releases, and I try to find my stories elsewhere. And I don't like writing about what I would call single study stories, where like there's one study that comes out and it's purporting this great big advance, and Mm,
I have
Yeah.
a technical
You know,
question.
that-
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard
Real
to follow
quick,
up.
that's interesting. Like one of the things I was complaining about is that there's a weighted conclusive studies are
Mm.
weighted as whereas like there's a lot of studies that happen that are inconclusive, and
Mhm.
those kind of get pushed away to
Because it's not
So, like,
sexy.
well, it's
Right.
not it's not confirmed. There's no, or like, as much as it can be confirmed as like a study like those whereas like like inconclusive studies are probably just as important as the conclusive ones, but like the conclusive ones are weighted like heavily
Sure.
towards like publication.
Absolutely. Yeah. They may not even get any kind of press release written for them.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's so funny that Eureka Alert is the name of a JSTOR kind of aggregator type thing. That's incredible.
Yeah, speaking of
Sorry,
JSTOR, this is one of my hobby horses, which is, and as a freelancer, you can speak to this, like, why the fuck are all science articles or like journal, like not journalism, but science articles and papers behind a paywall? Like, why can we talk about, and what do you do as a
Substack?
freelancer? Do you have to subscribe or are you part of like a group that gets
So-
access?
The really good thing about physics is that's mostly not the case.
Okay.
And the reason that's mostly not the case is because there are things called preprints, which are versions of the paper prior to their publication.
Mm.
They're usually pretty similar. And the physicists have been using a site called Archive, which is spelled ARXIV, and it's pronounced archive because of the X is actually a Greek letter chi. It's
Hell
their little
yeah.
their little
Hell
their little
yeah.
play on words.
It's a very
and-
physicist joke.
Yeah, it is. But it is actually a really good thing, and it's not just good because it lets freelance journalists look at stuff for free, but it means that people in places which
Yeah.
don't have access to $40,000 a year library subscriptions
Yeah.
can still keep up with the latest research. It means that the latest research comes out more quickly. Some people will tell you that that's dangerous because it hasn't been peer reviewed yet. But I mean, a lot of that has been overhyped, and I think that a lot of other fields besides physics have been coming around to the idea of putting up preprints, which you can update after the fact, after publication to show, this article was published somewhere. It has that sort of thumbs up, and so really, there are very few downsides, but there's a lot of cultural hangups in academia about having these kind of formal gatekeepery official processes, so to answer your question, I would be shit out of luck in a lot of other fields, and it would be very difficult. I would have to somehow subscribe to a lot of different journals if I wanted to look up stuff, or and this is part of the reason why things like Eureka Alert are tempting, is that they will give you the article, they will give you the PDF, because they want you to write about it. And they don't care if you subscribe to the journal or not. They'll give you it. There's no paywall there. They want you to have it. In fact, some of them, at least this used to be the case with Nature, but would just give you access to everything if you were a journalist, because they'll, that's
Interesting.
it's good for them.
Yeah.
Good for the like environment of
Dan,
journalism, I guess.
Dan, what's your favorite cereal?
I grew up being a big fan of grape nuts.
Ooh.
Really?
Wow,
That's a hot take.
That
wow,
is hot.
That's a good answer.
It's a hot take. And I think grape nuts is honestly not that good of a cereal. The reason why I like it is because I think it has this kind of like happy medium between things that are like super granola-y and crunchy, but it's and between that and like the really sugary, like Life or whatever. And I can trick
I've never
myself.
had Life, not once in my life.
Yeah, you've
Just imagine.
you've never had a life, Zach.
Uh-huh.
You walked
Imagine
into that one, man. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Zach.
Never had
Sorry,
a
Dan.
life.
Keep
Sorry,
going.
Zach.
No, I thought he was throwing himself on the pyre or the pool of piss there, just shits and giggles. But yeah, I don't know. Grape nuts are nice because they
good texture.
Yeah, it's good texture. And honestly, this is gonna sound dumb, but like I like watching the milk get absorbed. Right.
Oh, dude, I'm the same way. That's why I eat frosted mini wheats.
Is that what you
Okay.
had, Mike? Is that what you were snacking
I
on?
just housed a bowl of frosted mini wheats because that piss pool thing, I don't know, it got me hungry.
It got you thinking. Can I just say really quickly, that archive like predates. I don't know if there was a protocol before JSTOR, but JSTOR launched in 95 and archive launched in 91, which I just thought was kind of crazy. Like,
yeah,
it's
and
really early internet.
Yes, it was very early internet, which I don't know if you know this, but a lot of the internet, the World Wide Web protocol, was developed at CERN by physicists.
Hell yeah.
So
yeah, it was used to like, it was just kind of trying to like link a campus, like computers.
They were
like,
just
together or
linking
something like
universities together and
They were
stuff.
trying to send cat pics from one dorm room to another.
That's right.
Is that true, or is that kind of just like one of those?
I
Never.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it's 100% true, Tor. Just like the Bionicle.
I'm sure that was one of the early things that they did. But
yeah, no, I thought that was like one of those stupid like little like.
Imagine being the
was
first
actually such
person
a
to receive a cat picture over the internet. That must have
Al
been
Gore.
sick,
That
dude.
was who it was. I'm just kidding.
Or
waiting for it to load like a porn.
That was the first thing I did online. That was the first thing I did online.
But the
look at porn or send porn.
I masturbated.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, no. Speaking of masturbation, I mean, the thing that a lot of physicists are proud about is that they have had this culture for a long time. Actually, before the internet, they used to print out these manuscripts, these pre-publication preprints, and they would mail them across the country. And so you could go to the libraries that they were mailed to and get a look at them before they were in publication. And so the reason then was not to make it free or accessible. It was to speed things up because they wanted to essentially, they didn't want to wait 6 months, 9 months, however long the review process took. And if you were, if you had rapid series of discoveries, you wanted to get the preprints. You wanted to see what people were doing here and now.
Yeah, there are parallels there because I have seen older men using the library computers to pleasure themselves.
That's right.
Actually, no, that's an interesting. So, was there ever a there's the famous what's her name? Rosalind Franklin, I want to say. It was Watson and Crick basically went around to various universities and aggregated the structure of DNA. Like and a lot of scientists got burned. Like one guy knew kind of the roughly like the various compositions, like he knew there was like a phosphate, whatever. But like, has that happened in the like field of physics? Rosalind Franklin got like a, I don't know what the word.
Yeah, she's the one who actually like
something.
She actually like imaged it, right?
Using not quite imaged. It was kind of like it was. I can't remember the exact word for it. It's look up Rosalind Franklin.
It's X-ray crystallography.
That's it. Okay.
So I mean the question. I'm not quite sure where you're going for, but
the question was: has that happened in the field of physics? Like, because you said there's kind of
people stolen
like sniped ideas.
Yeah.
I guess.
So what you're asking about is priority, and priority is who comes up with it first, who gets there first, and there are a lot of really interesting cases where people come up with the same idea right around the same period of time, just because there's a whole host of other it leads people to the same conclusion. So if you've heard of the Higgs boson, it's named after Peter Higgs.
Have we ever?
And he's a British physicist. What you might not know is that he and a lot of other people came up with a very similar idea all around the same time in like 1963, 1964. And so people have joked that it should not just be called the Higgs boson, and this should give you an idea of just how many people were thinking of the same thing. It should be called the Higgs, Hagen, Guralnik, Kibble, Anderson, Nambu. I'm missing one or two. There's like 8 names. But the point is, that they should like abbreviate it and give it like 8 letters or something like that. And no one is going to do that. But that so many people, more than half a dozen, could come up with this idea of how essentially elementary particles get their mass more than half a century ago. is kind of ridiculous, but they really did. And you can look at these papers all come out within months of each other. And the reason that it's Higgs, it's called the Higgs boson, is because his paper was a little bit more explicit in identifying a possible particle associated with this mass giving mechanism. And then some people recognized that and they cited it more than the others. And so his name came first.
Was there some sort of like precursor discovery in like the body of knowledge that maybe like catalyzed that discovery? Because like in comedy, like comedians will accuse each other of joke stealing. Like people will be like you know how many times I heard that whole do you remember the Rogan Carlos Mencia controversy about like how Carlos Mencia stole like the idea that like Mexicans would want to build the wall? Like is it like I heard a version of that. I heard that a version of that joke from no less than 5 different comedians in my time working at a comedy
parallel
club.
thinking.
Like, everyone
priority.
I was gonna say, you know, it's so funny you say that, Tor, because my neighbor Hector just sent me an old Jeff Dunham clip.
Yeah, it's so funny when they get so flustered. It's like, that's my joke, man. That's my joke. It's like, no, man. Everyone had like a pair of
Yeah, it's not that unique, right?
It's not unique like Jose the Jalapeno, dude.
Absolutely.
Who's Jose the Jalapeno?
Jose the Jalapeno is one of the classic Jeff Dunham creations.
Oh, okay.
I
haven't gone deep into the Jeff Dunham catalog.
Well, you got to follow my neighbor Hector then, because he just reposts banger after banger.
Sorry, you were saying something, Dan?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So Goralnik was he was one of the guys who came up with sort of the same idea at the same time as Higgs, and he died in 2014, which is right after they awarded the Nobel to Higgs and another guy.
Beats.
And he was always a little bit mad about that. But yeah, I mean, so like who made the same kind of, what was there a precursor joke which started them all in that course? And there's not one single joke, but there was a problem called spontaneous symmetry breaking, which had been addressed. It had been floating around the community, and so that led a lot of them to the same joke about the this Higgs boson in much the same way.
A lot of them were hanging out at the Laugh Factory and they saw Dunham
but
on
it's
stage.
like
it's more like a set of conditions, right? It's more like the fact that there is this candidate named Donald Trump who wants to build the wall, or the fact that there is a U.S.-Mexico border, right? These are the
current
things
events, happen,
which lead to that. Not even just like, did they attend the same conference and talk to each other? And one person said, "Hey, I've got this idea for this thing." It doesn't have to be that direct.
But it feels so different.
But what it is, that's because it's very different, Zach. It's like genius versus just lazy dumb fucks.
Well, but when you talk about the Higgs boson, it's something like it's a.
I'm talking about comics. I'm talking about comics or the lazy dumb fucks, Dan, not you.
No. I was going to disagree with that. Not all scientific discoveries are genius. Some of them are lazy dumb fucks making accidents, but go ahead.
They all can't be Ahmed the
Jack
dead
Parsons, man.
But like with like these particle physics, you're trying to investigate something that's like fundamental to the nature of reality, right? It's not tied to current events. It's not tied to the now unless there's like a new technology that's enabling it, that makes it tied to the now, right? Otherwise, you are exploring something that's existed since the beginning of the universe, right? So it's surprising when like 8 people come up with the same particle idea at the same time. What are the material conditions that ties it to the now that made them come up with it? What is the Donald Trump and the wall and the Mexico border of the Higgs boson?
I want to push back on that. I think it's less surprising. I think coming up with the same joke is in some ways more surprising, right? Because
roast him, Dan.
Roast him.
If all of us look at the same, I don't know, fucking rock, right? Like there are these objective like facts of reality that we could learn from the rock. I don't know if you guys remember like 10th grade earth science or whatever, but you remember like the Mohs hardness scale, right? Like which things can scratch which things, like fingernails can't scratch glass, but like steel can scratch glass. Like we could all do that test, right? And maybe we wouldn't call it the Mohs hardness scale. One of us would call it the Mike hardness scale. One of us would call it the Tor hardness scale, right?
God, what an awesome time to be alive in science. It's just like, yeah, I'm banging rocks together,
right,
literally.
No, but this is I'm getting into speculative territory. But imagine like two cave people, right, coming up with this fucking rock hardness test, and they're like, oh yeah, this rock hard, this other rock less hard, and they can come up with that independently because that is an objective fact about reality. But to come up with the same joke, or to come up with the same poem, or to come up with the same, I don't know, like those are much more subjective things, right?
Yeah, I come up with stuff like I'll just see it on YouTube and then I'll just do it.
I'm just thinking about smashing rocks on the like cleavage, like they just smashed rocks now.
Yeah, that dialogue, this rock hard, this rock less hard, sounds like my dad waking up from a nap. This rock hard.
Well, I think we've gone pretty
this rock
long.
Less hard. We've gone pretty long, and Dan.
Dan, do you want to talk about magic? Is there any magic topic?
That's what I was ask.
So I have been playing.
Hell yeah, bro.
Mardu Alchemy Samurai.
Wow,
that's a choice.
Yeah,
wow. Now Zach's bagging on Dan. Dude.
I was really disappointed with how the Kamigawa Samurai worked at first, because there were so many fucking, like, I don't know, there were no good one drops, and it didn't function well as like mid-range aggro. And when they revamped some of the stuff with the alchemy, they made the Eganjo Exemplar one drop.
They made them like all one drops. There's like now there's like two. There's like a white one drop and a red one drop, right?
There was always a red one drop. There was like the mechanical samurai.
The Ronin.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But now there must be three then.
But the really good card is this one that used to be a 5-drop, but now is a 3-drop. It's the red white samurai, and it gives you +1 when it attacks alone for each samurai that you have.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's got haste and trample. No, you're thinking of that's the one that conjures cards. It's got double strike.
Okay.
But
I'm surprised alchemy is still being supported. It's
sorry, Captain.
I mean, look, it's not a fun format, but I do appreciate that they fixed this problem, which is that you could not do a mid-range aggro deck with the samurai before, and now you can, and it's pretty effective. I can, kind of with my eyes closed, blow through gold, and if I really want to.
What's also nice is that like it makes a lot of commons.
Yeah, that's me. That's me bragging there. Like, I'll get into plat.
But it makes a lot of commons and uncommons, which are easy on your wildcard budget, more accessible and more competitive. But Dan, let's take a step back, okay? You got into.
You're gonna do this, Zach?
No, I want
read the room, Zach. Read the room.
Zach, we're at 90 minutes, so let's wrap this up. Okay?
I wanted to ask how you got in. What made you turn to Magic? You got into Magic like a couple years ago, right?
Oh, and then the fucking pandemic, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. Dan had no other options, and he picked something Zach's obsessed with.
Most people turn to hard drugs.
Look, I had to go cold turkey on this stuff. It was bad. I was not spending lots of money on it. It was just I was pouring hours.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, dude. When you first get back into it, you are just like, I need to absorb every card. I need to know everything about it.
The spike.
Hours spent on gathering.
Do you play anything in paper, Dan? Do you play any EDH?
Yeah, I just drafted with a friend the other week, and I also played Commander, and then got my ass handed to me from some weird fucking it was this awful token generating thing, and then used the cryptozoologist, which he generated infinite clue tokens. Yes, and then fucking milled the entire deck, and it was like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
And then I killed him with a aggro deck, so it was fine.
Sweet justice, sweet restitution.
Well, Dan, Zach has a flight that's gonna get canceled tomorrow, so we got to get going.
Okay, before we go, I have one final thing for us to do as a collective. Okay.
All right, I'm leaving the Zoom.
See you later, Mike. It's getting late. I get it.
Mike, you are welcome to join with us. This is not magic related. We have a quick quiz.
Answered resoundingly
from our sponsor.
Mike just got. We have a quick quiz. We don't have to do this. We can audible.
I mean, Zach. I mean, I don't know.
I thought we already.
Let's do it. We're here. We got to do it. I don't know, Dan. Also Dan is East Coast time, Zach.
Yeah.
Dan is fucking. Have you eaten, Dan?
Go ahead. I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Okay. I'm West Coast time, and I'm like, I need to go eat dinner. Like that's.
Dan, you can just drop out of the Zoom call at any time.
Yeah.
And this will be very.
It was a lovely chat.
Zach, shoot.
Okay, so this is a quiz, and the reward will be a collector booster pack, which I'll ship to the winner. Dan, your viral article is the universe. The universe is not locally real, so this is a local versus real quiz. All right, so each question, the answer is either a TV show that has the word "real" in the title, or a chain restaurant that has a location that's local to the Columbia campus.
Oh God. That's okay. Really quick before we start the quiz, I just want to ask Dan, what was the title of the article that you would have given it? Because you kind of. Sorry.
That's another hobby horse I have. Why do they disentangle like naming rights to articles from the author? Like. Makes me so mad.
They want to get more. I mean, this
they want to get more clicks.
Yeah, well, it's also the traditional power that editors have had at journalistic institutions. The answer is, it's not a terrible name, but I couldn't come up with a better one right now on the spot.
Okay, sorry to put you on the spot. I just noticed that it kind of irked you when you mentioned it.
Yeah, and then we're gonna send it to your editor when you.
For the listener, the title that they chose was "The Universe is Not Locally Real," and the Physics Nobel Prize winners proved it.
That is true. Those are all true things.
Okay, so
all right, let's get into the quiz.
But now we're gonna get into this quiz. So take that thought about the universe and its locality or lack thereof as we go into the first question. Is the universe locally real? Is the shape of the universe open, flat, or closed? You'll have plenty of time to ponder these questions and more while these questions and the result of your latest E&M midterm while the servers at this Broadway and 110 establishment make you a burrito or bowl.
It's Chipotle.
Chipotle, that's correct. Dan gets 1 point.
This is heavily.
This is extremely biased.
What is it? Okay.
No, burrito or bowl is a huge clue.
Okay.
I didn't realize you had like a soliloquy before each one. Okay, I get it now. Who's playing? Are we all? Is it three of us?
We're all playing.
Yeah,
okay.
This is really
we
not
have to
fair.
keep going. We have to keep going.
Don't worry. Me and Belly will form a team, and if we win, we'll get it.
All right. Modern particle physics might not adhere to the standard model, but this Vanderpump family adheres to its matriarch Lisa's titular rules in this so-titled spin-off.
Keeping up with the Kardashians?
Wait, Vanderpump Rules?
Vanderpump Rules?
Damn.
In this so-titled spin-off of which original housewife reality show?
Oh God.
The Housewives of fucking Manhattan? I don't.
Oh, that's right. It has to have the
Real Housewives
of Orange
of
County. I don't know.
Orange County. That's
I got it right.
Dan gets 2 points. Okay.
I don't even know that. I should know that. I feel bad about knowing that.
All right. Speaking of Orange County, you might find yourself
Dan.
ordering orange chicken at this Broadway chain, which opens after I graduated and has a mascot who moonlights as a kung fu master in a DreamWorks film franchise.
Oh, Panda Express. Yes,
Panda
Columbia.
Express. There you go.
Oh my God, that's right. They do have one of those now.
All right. Belly is on the board.
Yes.
It opened after I graduated, just so you know.
Okay, I don't know when it opened. I was looking at Google Maps. In quantum physics, this term is used to describe states of maximum entropy. But from 1994 to 1997 on Nickelodeon, that term was used to describe Ickis, Abelia, and Crumb, in which animated TV show that purported to be the true life tales of these creepy crawlies?
Real Monsters?
Real Monsters.
Wow, good job, Tor.
Okay.
Wait,
this-
how does that have to do with the maximum state of entropy? That was a monster? Is that
Hey,
what it means?
apparently that's called a monster in physics. It's
Okay.
a state of maximal entropy is a monster.
Okay. Belly,
okay.
you have 2 now.
No.
Okay, so this is if you guys are pooling, this is the match point. This is my last
Okay.
question. Okay.
Okay.
Much like matter cannot touch antimatter, legend has it that McDonald's was not allowed to open a location within 5 blocks of the Morningside Columbia campus. But other burger chains could and have, including Shake Shack, which is opened up just across the street. But which was the first burger chain to open up with a numerical name, the same
Five Guys.
number? Five Guys. There you go.
Nice.
Sorry.
Got it, man.
Nice.
Hey, Dad,
Sorry,
it was
it's
great
not,
to
it's not
meet you.
fair.
It
It was great to meet you guys,
You
too.
won that.
Yeah, you
When we
won
teamed
fair
up
and
against you,
square.
you still fended us off.
You
A
taught us a
numerical
lot.
name, the same number as the numbers of colors of magic in MTG.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go. Bring
okay,
it all
sorry.
together.
I knew I had to close on that fast. I heard number and I heard burger and
Yeah.
There you go, there you
Instincts.
go.
Yeah, that's what I was going through my mind. I just didn't pull it out. Oh, shoot.
An
All right,
AI could
Dan,
never
it was
have
great
done
to meet
that.
you. I
Yeah.
gotta go, though.
Yeah.
See
Thank you
later.
so much, Dan.
Do
All
you
right.
want to do any plugs before we sign off?
no. You
right.
should never know what my Twitter is. Bye.
All
Bye, everyone.
I love you, man.
Love you,
Thanks,
man.
Dan.
Recording stopped.
Okay.
All right.